right. I see a lot of people coming in. Thank you all so much for joining the Power of Black Stories. We'll take about 1 minute and we'll get started. And then I'm going to introduce some amazing people pretty soon. And once again, thank you for joining this. It means so much. Power of Black Stories. I'm going to be sharing some great imagery for you all. Okay. So let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. Once again, thank you all for being here. This is a magnificent project. I've been working on it for a long time now. And all of the people I've met over the years, they've been very amazing. Now, later on in this presentation, I am going to introduce 2 other amazing people. Now, they have been participants of the self-publication. One of them is Brittany Walker-Craig. She is amazing, and she's going to tell you about herself, about her companies, and just all of the great community work she's done. I'm also going to introduce Mr. Payne. He's amazing. He helps the youth, and you'll also hear some information that will help you decide what you want to do as far as traveling, okay? So before we jump into that, though, I always like to open up with a great video, okay? And it's something to kind of keep you motivated, to give you wisdom, and for you to really see the value in yourself, because you matter. You really, really do. And I never want you to forget that. So without wasting any more time, because I can talk a lot, but that's a good thing. Okay. I'm going to play the video for you. Please enjoy.
Hey, little black girl. Yeah, you. I see you over there looking all heaven sent behind that melon. No. I ain't meddling. I just want to let you know I'm going to pray for you. You may not even realize you need it, but you do. I'm going to pray that you survive. That you survive in a world where materialism is an overpopulated religion, where you're marginalized and you're not wearing marshmallow. I'm going to pray that you grow to be bigger than the BS or the superficial will never fit you, and you learn to put more value in how you treat people and never become a resident of a messed up mind state. Mark my words, the world is going to watch you like a soap opera. Just remind them that they're watching the diamond, and the way you shine is a guiding light for them, is guided, I swear. I'm going to press my palms together and pray that bad influences never infect you like influenza. And I rebuke any worldly virus that tries to attack your immune system, my little sister. Got your back, black woman. I ask that you learn to put more emphasis in the infrastructure of your spirit and the infrastructure of your figure. Your mind is the force to be reckoned with, so don't allow them to wreck it with the world's recklessness. Be smarter than those who allow themselves to be oppressed, but learn when to repress. You have to demonstrate the difference between meek and weak. Know when to hold your peace and when to fold those 2 fingers into a fist. Stand firm for who you are, but never work too hard to impress someone who hadn't even begun to figure out who they are. I ask that you're constantly reminded that natural is not a disaster. Rather, you're born in earthquake, groundbreaking, just as you are. I pray that you go far and that you know that your world and the world does not have to be the same place.
All right. Wasn't that beautiful? It was really, really dope. And I created that video with the voice and audio from Obi West. He is a great poet, very amazing. And it was also Moxie. She's a great participant. She was in volume 1 of the self-publication. Now, that we have gotten that out the way, because that was a lot of wisdom all in one video, I would like to move on to give you a bit of information about myself and why I've been working on the self-publication for so long. My name is Natasha Johnson. I'm a multimedia artist and educator. I graduated from Booker T. Washington in 2008. I went on to Texas Women's University and I studied design communication there. I went to the Rhode Island School of Design, and it's just been amazing since then. Now, in my youth, I lived in poverty. My parents were not in the picture, but throughout my life, the family that, stayed around and who were, was there to support me, as well as friends and mentors and teachers, I was really able to become the artist, become the woman that I am today. And because of those people, and because of their wisdom and spirit, I now use my art, my design, my voice to help other people, because that's the gift that I want to give back to the world. It's what God gave me, and I'm really excited about it. And I wouldn't change anything for the world. I really wouldn't. In 2019, I won one of the first open spots for the Sony Alpha Female competition, and it was amazing. I currently work on the self-publication and also the SMART project, which is a creative after-school program meant to help youth. And I love them. They're amazing. They're so strong. They really are. So gonna move on, actually. Now, before dropping this off and just going deep, because I have some deep stuff to show you, I would like to talk about unity. Okay. Now, I say unity all the time. Unity, unity, unity. I throw it around, and I know it might sound cliche, but it's very important. So I was thinking about unity, and I wanted a concrete definition of what it meant, right? So like everybody else, like my students, I'll use Google to figure it out because that's like the new norm. And it gave me a great definition, and it stated, this is a word for togetherness or oneness. When a bunch of people act as one and are on the same page, they are displaying unity. When bickering and disorganized things happen, there is no unity, right? No unity, just negative energy. In many groups, this idea of unity can be hard to maintain, but it's worth it, and it can really move the group forward. It can help them grow. It can help them like reach the stars if they wanted to. But when a group is divided, it can ultimately like cause their demise, and that's a fear that I have. So my goal is always to promote unity in the Black community, because peace and love will really take us a long way. It really, really will. And I love my people. I really do. So I want to actually move on to talk about the self-publication, because I have some beautiful images of these participants that I've worked with over the years, and they keep me motivated as well. But before doing that, let's go ahead and dive into the definition of it, and then the images will come after. I know everyone's waiting on that. And plus, that video you just saw, you probably want more. Once again, beautiful artists that allowed me to use this audio. Now, the self-publication. A lot of people will ask me, what is it and how did it start? All right, in the self-publication, to be honest, I had no idea what I was doing when I first started this, but I want to give you the exact definition that I've written all over social media. You find it everywhere. It states that the self-publication is a collection of photography and personal essays designed to uplift and combat the harsh stereotypes associated with women and men in the Black community. It is meant to support the community as a whole, the youth, the elderly, everyone. It's meant to help us. Self is what love starts with. And I really promote self-love because you all are great. You are important. Even if we haven't met in person, you're dope, and I never want you to give up. And no matter what you see in the media, if it's meant to tear you down, that is not you. And I know that you have a beautiful spirit. Forget all of that stuff. So I would like to also talk about a few of the reasons why I got started, okay? And once again, it wasn't as clear when I first started. But one of the many reasons I started was colorism. And when I went to grad school, I was displaced away from Texas. I was able to be online a lot more. You know, I had just started using Instagram heavy, and I was seeing all of these degrading memes that were targeting darker skinned women, darker skinned men, and those memes were disgusting. Okay, and I'll share a few with you. So just warning you. I would collect those memes that I saw, and I would share them on my Facebook page, trying to get people to agree with me how bad they were, and how this is not the idea of unity, because it's not. When we target one another, when we hurt one another, when we make fun of one another, it's on display for the entire world to see, and it's painful. Lots of people still live with those scars. Now, in grad school, I didn't start the project right away. I was still forming myself as an artist, but eventually, a year after I graduated, I was still seeing those memes, right? And one of my former peers in my class advised me that, hey, you should do something, combine your art, do something to combat this stuff. I still didn't have an idea. When I was in grad school, I had also transitioned to my natural hair, which I love, right? And I was wondering, hey, maybe I should create a book of all women that, love their natural hair and want to showcase it. So I started just photographing women that I met and some of my friends, and it was amazing. Now, the volume one is full of all Black women, and originally it was meant to be a natural hair book, but their stories, and when we had these photographic sessions, their stories were so powerful that I felt that it would be very necessary for them to share their stories, because stories can move mountains, and the power of Black stories is truly extraordinary because of all the things we've been through. And I want you all to never be silent, to always use your voice to raise awareness about any mistreatment that is happening to you or your people. Okay, so I want to show you a few of those memes, and they're disgusting. They are. So I would see these memes online. I mean, like, seriously, I would see these, and once again, they were disgusting. They still are stereotypical, very embarrassing, and it's just not right. Now, many people will say that, hey, it's just a joke. No, these jokes follow us in the workplace. They follow us in our relationships. They follow us all around the world. And it's just not right, because we are a strong, beautiful group of people, and that should be reflected, not bad memes. So I wanted to share some more. And these issues are very sensitive. They hurt people. There's research on how stereotypes can hurt people, and it's very true. And the self-publication has set out to defeat that, because it's just not right. And I don't care if it's 1,000,000 eyes on it or 10, as long as the people that engage with this project know that they are important and that they are beautiful, then I will continue to do the work. And I wanted to show you another one. Let's see. Once again, just not nice at all. Okay, just terrible. So we're going to move on from this, but that is a great summary of why I started and why I keep going. And I'm glad to say that I see lots of people understanding, learning more about their history, and really loving themselves and not being embarrassed about being Black or just being who they are. Because once again, the community is amazing, really is. So let's move on to the project examples. And you will see some beautiful images of Brittany coming up soon. And yeah, let's just get into it, because they're great. They're really fun. So the self-publication, once again, is a photographic book series, but it is also a project that was created to analyze the role of media representations. I see it. I know when it's something is printed in the news ad or in the stores. I know when it's bad representation, or maybe over the years I'm like become more paranoid, like, why did they post it like that? But I want to make sure my people are always highlighted in the beautiful light that they were created to shine under. Okay, and if you see that's the videos here that just played, you'll see some of the participants that were shown, and they're amazing. They're doing great things, and I'm going to show a few more. So let's move on. Now, these are two images that you might find on the social media page, and the social media is a self-publication. You can just find it on Instagram. The image to the left is a beautiful collage of some of the women from Volume 2. And you can see Brittany there, and she's the black and white image, the main girl there, very strong, and I wanted to highlight her presence. She's very outgoing, very wonderful woman, and just a go-getter. And all of these other women are just as strong, and they're all doing different things to help the community and to help uplift themselves, because as we all know, the world can be very harsh on Black women, okay? Now, moving over to the image of the X, I started to learn a lot more about Malcolm X and his stance on things, and I really appreciate his visions. And in school, I didn't learn anything about Black history, but I started to do my own research, and it started to help me understand, because sometimes if you don't know where you're from or where you're going, that can be really hard on your mental health. And that's what I love about this project as well. So many people have actually spoken about mental health. They've spoken about issues in their families. They've spoken about so many things. And I love them for doing that, because that's some of those are touchy like subjects, and it can be painful to revisit that stuff. But nevertheless, by reading all of these stories, they can be hurtful. Trust me. Reading all of these stories can be very painful, but I know that we're not alone. we're not in this alone. We all have each other. And if the world can see us shine with unity, we can, once again, we can move mountains. So I want to state that so far I've worked with over 28 people for this project, and I continue to do it because I love it, and I can't wait to work with more. It can be very challenging, trust me, especially with collecting stories, scheduling the shoots, and all of that. But um, I love my people. I love the community, and I love us. You know, love starts within. It's gonna pour out. All right, now let's get to the exhibit. So I'm gonna show you a few of the images and I'm gonna read off a few things. Forgive me if I get excited and I stumble, that's just me because I love the work, and once again, I love my community. So the exhibit, I want to show you one of the very first participants I shot for volume 3. This is Dylan, and he is amazing. He's really, really amazing, and very great energy, great spirit. We took this image for volume 3, and his story is magnificent. He believes in the community, he loves the culture, and just is a very respectful person, you know, very respectful. You can see that his vision for the world is clear, it's powerful, and you can find his Instagram through the self-publication. Any one of these participants you see and you want to support, please do it, because once again, that's unity. It really is. Now, moving on to Brittany. She is so beautiful. Brittany has been so supportive of the self-publication for so very long. She's so supportive as a friend, and she's also supportive when you're trying to get serious about your health. Trust me. I'm sorry, Brittany, I'll get serious. But just learning from her, seeing how she's done so many great things really motivates me. And I just love how, you know, how strong she is. She is a strong woman. She stands up for herself. And in this image here, well, these two images, you see her outfit is, first of all, it's nice because she dresses so nice. I mean, seriously, please lead me to whatever store you go to shop because I need those tips. But this outfit that she has on represents the Black Panther Party. And I learned about the Black Panther Party in grad school as well. And, you know, I was surprised that so much information about them was negative, but they did a lot of things for the community, like feeding children and, you know, policing the area because of children who were getting brutalized, seriously. And I just love that unity and you know, the idea of wearing a natural hair to feel free, not because they were trying to um, gain acceptance from anyone else, but seriously because they loved themselves, and it was like a sister and brotherhood. Now, you can read up more information, and I'll also give later presentations about the Black Panther Party and how they were dismantled. But once again, their spirit, their energy, and what they have done for the community is very strong, and I love them. I really do. So, Brittany Walker Craig, she's a beautiful person. Now, moving on to Fayan, he is also going to be in volume 3. An amazing man, is very supportive of the youth. He does not like any injustice directed towards the youth, and his music is very uplifting, very nice, was very sweet when I met him. And he was actually he was actually down here for a short amount of time, so the shoot happened fast. But you know, when I captured this image of him, I was very impressed by the power that was embedded. And I always love when shoots have good energy, because even if I shoot a dope photo or it's all glammed up and the energy was bad, I'm not gonna like that photo. So all of the images that I've taken for the self-publication are good because everyone has great energy, and once again, they're beautiful spirits. But I love how he speaks out against you know, sex trafficking and stuff like that, because the youth are very important and we have to protect them because they are our future. And it's just great tuning into the work that this man is doing. It most definitely is. Now, moving on to Rena, she was in volume 1, and when I met her, I just remembered how beautiful her hair was. I was like, oh my gosh, like, how did you get your fro like that? But she was very outspoken, very pleasant to be around. I loved her stance on a lot of stuff and her ability to stand up. And her story in volume 1 was very beautiful because it highlights how she gets those awkward stares as far as when she goes out and she wears her natural hair, right? But I thought it was dope. And if anyone's staring and they're upset, they shouldn't be, because it's like a crown. And the fact that she holds her head up high and she wears it and she can choose to do whatever she wants to with her hair is a beautiful thing. And I really enjoyed working with her for volume 1. Now, moving on to Tyla, she is also a great person. All of them are great people. They're just all great. Oh my gosh, it was amazing working with them. But she is really great. She supported me over the years, and I'll share a bit of her story. She's a great role model for the youth. The kids love her. I can tell. I actually visited one of her classrooms before, and you can tell they just love her. And kids can notice, and not to cry, I don't want to, but kids notice good energy. They do. Animals do too. You notice that a dog starts barking, like you can always catch on, always trust like the vibe of a kid, and they just love her. Once again, just a dope person, and I was so happy to work with her for volume 1. Now, over the time, the publication has gotten a bit more, creative, and more images have been shown of actually that are a bit more creative. I guess I'm not going to say it like the past images were not creative, but more conceptual, right? And this is going to be in volume 3. This is another image. This image here, it's just so much wisdom, and it's also going to be in volume 3. And I'm so excited. The stories of all these Black men and what they're speaking about, it's just it's intriguing and it's deep. And I love that they are sharing a sacred part of themselves to help other people heal. This is Jamal, and it will also be in volume 3. An amazing guy, very supportive. He's an artist as well. And I believe his fiance is also an artist, and she creates beautiful jewelry. So please support them if you can. And moving on to Brianna, she's amazing, and her sister is following here, and she's also wearing her crown. So I wanted to point out these amazing people, their beautiful images, and their good energy. I hope it radiates and just hits you from your screen. All right. We're going to continue. I'll show you a few more images. This is Clarissa. In the book, she actually speaks about how a teacher kind of just tormented her about her hair, telling her to put it back. And that's hurtful for children to deal with that type of stuff. It is. And some of these teachers can be wolves in sheep's clothing. Trust me, I know from experience. And moving on to one of the last single pictures I'm going to show you of Jackie, and she's been very supportive. You might see her in some of my photographs that I've taken, and her story was very strong in volume 1. She didn't hold or bite her tongue for anything, and I really appreciated that, because I was a bit nervous. I was like, oh no, should we not say that? But then after reading it, I'm like, well, she has the strength to say what she has to say. Then I should be brave enough to support her, publish this, and always have her back if anyone tries to say anything negative, because it takes a strong person to jump out on a ledge like that and to uplift their community in such a great way. I want to share a bit of the stories too. Okay, and before we get to introduce our amazing people, but let's go ahead and get started. Now, Dylan, and I was talking before, he's going to be in volume 3, but I love what he states here, and I'm going to read it off. You can read along with me. If I stumble, don't laugh, it happens. But it states, knowing where you come from and how we got here is fundamental for our existence. Breaking the chains and curses this world has put upon us will guide us to truth and the light of understanding true wisdom in this world. I thought that was so amazing, because it's very true. And once again, I talk about unity all of the time. And it's sometimes I say it so much, I'm like, oh my gosh, this word. But I see how other communities function when they have unity and support. I see how families function when they have unity and support. I see how school systems function when they have great unity, great teachers, and support. I am one of those children who went through a lot, from the projects, all of that stuff. But the unity and the help of those teachers, the family members who did what they could, my friends, it helped me, and I want to thank them so much. So I can't stress that enough. And also wisdom by reading or engaging with others who really see the vision in the world and see the beauty in the world, in the little things. I'll say that as well, can really guide you and help you navigate this world because it can be chaotic. Now, I wanted to move on to Derek. And I love Derek dearly. And he is my cousin. He's joined Volume 3. And Derek has always had a great spirit. He is a very funny person to be around. He's a comedian by like nature. And I'm surprised he's not selling out arenas because I would buy like multiple tickets. But he's a very funny guy, and he's been through so much. And I won't reveal anything too deep or too personal because out of respect for him. But just an amazing man. And I know we've spoken about issues, right? Issues in the medical field and how, Black bodies, Black people are sometimes disregarded, mistreated, the birth rates, all of that stuff. I see it. And that doesn't leave our minds. And before I started to read a ton about my history, and even before I started to work on self-publication, I remember the issues that he had to deal with. And it states, my mother was sent home from the hospital ill. We later found out she had fluid in one of her legs, which resulted in her death. She passed away right in her apartment. To be honest, her death gave me the hardest time because it could have been avoided. I knew right then that they didn't give a fuck about us. And once again, it's painful because he's such a great guy. And after all he's been through, this smile that you see is something he keeps. And he was just really happy this day. His hands are photographed to show wisdom because he is a very wise man. And he's gotten it from his father. His father was also a very wise man. And his father is my uncle, and I love him. And he would always sing this song, What a Beautiful Mess. And that song brought me peace and joy, and it still does to this day. So I wanted to present to you Derek, and I wanted to let you know that never stop talking about what's going on in the medical industry, because our people are loved and we deserve that respect. And after reading our history, we've been through a lot, and I know we're going to keep going. We are. So I want to move on and to share it with you. Another great person, Lenny. He was in Volume 2. And Lenny writes books. He is a great author. He writes children's books, books for adults. I mean, and they're just beautiful stories about the community. And please, please, please support him. Please support him. He has some great stuff. But he wrote, and this is just a part of his story because it's very long. But as we begin to exit the neighborhood, the elderly white woman shouted, and stay out. That's why you people don't belong here. You guys are always somewhere you don't belong. And he actually, the cops were called on him because he was visiting a friend, and they were in a new neighborhood, and this happened. And just imagine what could have went down. He's so sweet, but we've heard about and we've learned about, and we remember the Trayvon Martin situation, Mike Brown. It's such a long list. I'm just happy that this did not end up like that. And when I was reading through his story, going through it in order to prep it for the publication, I remembered all of those other stories. And I actually remember like a week or 2 weeks after the Trayvon Martin situation happened, my nephew wanted to go to the store and it was dark. And I was like, I don't think so. And it's not because that I didn't feel that he couldn't protect himself, but that situation was so fresh, right? So I wanted to say that Lenny is amazing. Here's his actual spread, and just a really, really dope person. Please support him. And this can be found in Volume 2. Now, moving on to Jax. I love Jax because she she has the same energy as Brittany. She does, and I love that because they will stand up, they will let you know and tell you how it is, but it's all out of that confidence that I love, and I look up to both of them for that. I really do. And she states, in all due respect, I sometimes want to let them know they can kiss my ass because I love my skin color. If I get darker in the summer, cool. If I get lighter in the winter, cool. This is my skin. I love being Black. And when she said that, I was like, oh, this is so nice. And this story can be found in volume 2. In her story, Jax also uplifts darker skinned women. She talks about colorism and the issues that have been thrown at so many of our women in the community. And just her showing that support was dope. And it was just an amazing story. I just had to have her. This is her actual spread. And once again, she wore all black. Her and Brittany wore all black and to represent the Black Panther Party. And I thought it was dope. And Lenny did too. If you notice, he had on all black. You know, it was really, really dope. Volume 2 was really dope. Volume 1 was super dope, and Volume 2 was super dope as well. So please, yeah, check it out if you have the opportunity. The story is very deep. Now, moving on to BV. Not everyone talks about like issues of racism or colorism, but they talk about their bodies, they talk about mental health, and BB is an amazing mom. She and her husband actually joined this publication, and their images are so beautiful. And she states that after having my first child, I went into postpartum depression. I couldn't believe that my stomach had stretch marks and I weighed almost 200 pounds. No one had told me my body would change this much. And she is beautiful. You can see her now with the little one working out on Instagram. Please support her. Great story. I loved the love that I was able to capture. In the publication, there's photos of her and her husband holding hands, and they came dressed to the max. They really look nice. Her outfit was very beautiful, and the way the sun shined, I really enjoyed it. Now, A.D. Bukola, she is also another person in Volume 2. She actually came down from New York, and we met in Houston, and we were able to work together. And I love her stance on corporate America. And she states, well, that's what my mama believes, that my image as a Black woman in America has only been tainted further because of my skin, my clothes, my demeanor, and now my hair doesn't fit the mold for white corporate America. And I'll show you the image here because of her hair. She locked it, and she spoke about how she had images like of the Fugees and Busta Rhymes, I believe, and her mom came in and ripped them, you know, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, her mom walked into the I believe like into the room, yeah, and she ripped them to pieces. But I believe, you know, with that happening, it's because we've been compressed and put in this box to be something that we don't want to be, and it's been hard for us to express ourselves. And it wasn't the fault. It wasn't like her mom's fault, but I can see how when this world puts you in a box, especially what's been happening in America, how that can be scary if we decide to showcase who we truly are. So I'm proud to say that this is, you know, her hair is beautiful. It's amazing. It really, really is. And yeah, it looks great. And her story was beautiful. And we rode bikes around. Now, moving on to Tyla. And I talked about her earlier. It mentions in her story, on Wednesday morning, I wasn't greeted by my coworkers. Instead, I was called into a staff meeting. I had no idea what was going on, but I soon realized the two women were sitting in front of me to discuss the company's policy on grooming. And in her story, she actually speaks about, you know, taking her hair down. She was prepping it for a sew-in because she had, you know, a big day coming up. And then the first day she came in, they were like, "Oh, your hair is beautiful." She had it in a natural state. The second day, she was greeted by compliments. And then the third day, she walks in, and they have her in this meeting. And you know how hurtful that can be to someone. It's like, well, the other 2 days you were praising it, but you were secretly talking behind my back. And she eventually left that job like shortly after that, and I was so proud of her. And then I believe that's when she started working with the youth, and which is great because the kids love her. They do. They get so happy when she comes. So I wanted to share that, and that is in volume 1. Now moving on, Mrs. Redmond or Robbie. She was my high school counselor, and she is actually one of the women who wrote a letter for me because my grades were suffering very bad. And I went to college because I needed a place to stay. And she was one of the people along with me, one of my late teachers, Eva Kuchai, and a in-law family member who wrote a letter to get me into the university. I wrote a letter promising them like, hey, I will do my best to keep my grades up. if you can just give me a chance. They let me in. I graduated with honors, and I want to thank this woman. And I also want to thank her for telling her story. She started by asking us this, and she speaks about a teacher she had, a substitute teacher she had when she was a kid. Do you all know why you are not as smart as white people? No one said a word. She continued, it is not your fault. Your ancestors lived in Africa. Then she showed us on a pull down map where Africa was and told us why it was so hot there. She said the sun baked their brains, and that was passed down through the generations to you. And she also stated that she was confused about that because she had heard, the Black Panther, the Black Power movement, James Brown, I'm Black and I'm, that music. And she also had parents who were teaching her like great information about the community. So she was confused. The next time she went back in, that substitute teacher was gone. But for her to say that to those children, yes, Mrs. Redmond or Miss Robbie had a great support system, but what about those children who didn't? And just imagine how those words impacted the kids who didn't have that safe mental space that they can go to someone to. So once again, there are some wolves in sheep's clothing. All right, so I wanted to move on to share her spread. This woman is beautiful. Her story is beautiful, and I thank her so much for joining this. And I want to move on to one of the last stories. Well, not one of the last stories. So many stories, and they're so great. But it states that Black people have suppressed generations of sadness, fear, and anger when inherited our ancestors' undiagnosed and untreated emotional, mental afflictions. Pretty much they are inside of us. And this is Crown. She was also in volume 2. She was very supportive of the series. She came out to my very first book signing when no one showed up. And, we still rocked it. And she, helped push me through it. And I just thought it was dope. And I was been lucky enough to work with women like her, to BB, Jackie, Brittany. My goodness, so many great, strong Black women that I look up to. And they're so beautiful. But I was happy to work with her and to see her thrive, to see all of these women thrive, have been truly amazing. So with that being said, speaking of amazing Black women, I am going to actually introduce a guest. And guess who it is? It is Brittany Walker Craig. She is amazing. And I'm going to bring her on if Brittany, yay, there she is. But Brittany, I'm going to share her beautiful photo. Isn't she cute? Oh my goodness. But if you can just talk a bit about yourself, and then I'll ask you a question for the great people out there.
Absolutely. So good evening, everybody. I hope that everybody's having an amazing day so far. So again, I'm Brittany Walker Craig. I am CEO and owner of NNG Consulting, and NNG stands for New Nation Goddess, who happens to be she, and I am she, and she is I. And I'll talk about New Nation Goddess a little more. And then I also am co-founder of LeVay CMOS with my spouse. We both own LeVay CMOS, and I'm going to talk more about CMOS as well. But to get started, how I met Natasha, we actually were following each other for some years on Instagram, and I saw this initiative that she was pushing about the self-publication a few years ago. So I applied, and she interviewed me, and it helped me heal some wounds that I was already in the process of healing. But to start off with colorism, I experienced colorism very early on in my own household. Both my brother and sister are from my dad's first marriage, but I didn't know that. We were all raised together. So I just assumed we came from the same mom, because my mother is more of a caramel complexion, and I have more of my dad's skin tone, but my brother and sister are what people consider fair skin, high yellow if you're here in Texas, but they're lighter skin with wavier hair. And I was always a darker skinned child. I'm lighter now than when I was a kid. I was like definitely shades darker, and I loved being darker, but my sister used to make a difference about it. She would call me an African booty scratcher, tell me I was nappy, because I always had really thick, long, beautiful hair. But since my hair, when I wet it, and my sister could put mousse in it and it would wave up, if it didn't do that, I thought I had this nappy hair that she discussed. So that started on me wanting to get my hair straightened. I wanted to wear contacts. After I got older, I always wanted to wear a long weave that was wavy. It was never nothing me wanting to embrace my natural look. I kept eyelashes on, I kept my nails done. I just was always doing these things to pretty much hide my beauty, if that made sense. So doing this collection with Natasha brought that out, and then experiencing racism. Oh my God. I got into my first fight in third grade because a Caucasian boy called me a nigger bitch. And I didn't even know what a nigger was really at that point. My mom and them had started teaching us about Black history, but I hadn't heard that specific word yet, but I knew what a bitch was. So then I just fought him and beat him up because my mama told me don't let nobody call me that. But then it ended up being a big old deal. My parents had to come up to the school. The boys' parents had to come up to the school. But my teacher at the time was Caucasian, and the family tried to come after my parents because they were racist. And I remember them calling my parents niggers again. And my teacher stood up for me and my family, because even though she was Caucasian, she was married to a Black man and she had 3 kids that were half Black. So that was like my first experience with racism. But as I got older, not only with color, but with my skin, against other Black chicks, I had Black females coming at me because I didn't have to put brown gel in my hair. I'm like, why are you mad at me? Because my mama don't put brown gel in my hair. Like, I had girls coming at me because I was always very skinny, and the bigger girls used to try to fight me. So that was always a problem. And then I'm a lesbian and I came out in high school. So then that was a problem. So then I'm a female, I'm Black, I'm a lesbian. So I'm getting hit with racism in all different types of ways. So I talk about that in the self-publication, but segue into what I do and some of the things that I did describe. So speaking of racism, I actually just left corporate America again due to racism. I worked very hard for a corporation. I actually used to be a chef. I'm a retired chef, and I owned a restaurant, and I lost it during Harvey. So it forced me to go back to corporate America. So I went back to corporate America, got my foot in the door, and worked my way up the ladder at a very prestigious company. But my promotion that I was promised was given to a Caucasian girl that was there for less amount of time than me, didn't have the credentials. And because her and the little clique that she was in was jealous about things that I was accomplishing in the company. I didn't know I signed up for a competition, but they signed up for competition with me, and it led to a lot of drama, and the outcome of it was very disappointing. So I came up with a game plan, 60 days, decided to leave corporate America, and here I am. So I opened up NNG Consulting. I am also a biology professor, and I'm a plant-based nutritionist. So I'll talk about health in a second, but with NNG, I help the Black community. I help everybody, but I really try to focus on the Black community and helping them achieve generational wealth and financial freedom. And with new businesses, I am like the person that helps you get started up. You have an idea, but you don't know what to do. You need to know how to get funding. You just want to not work at corporate America no more. You want to work for yourself. I teach you how to do everything you need to do to get there. And then with established companies, I help them do restructuring of their brands, auditing and analysis, project management, program development, and just want everybody to succeed and for all of us to win. I have more than 20 years of experience in over 15 industries. So I've jumped around quite a bit. I have 4 degrees. So I love helping people and serving. That is my purpose here on earth. I feel like I was placed here to serve, heal, and educate the community and bring us to where we need to be. So with NNG Consulting, I have that business side, but then I also have the nutrition side, and that goes into my plant-based nutritionist. So when I had my restaurant, I was still eating meat. I was leading up to getting married at the time. My fiance and I was trying to lose weight. We watched this documentary called What the Health. With that being said, we ended up transitioning into being plant-based. I ended up losing weight, but in the meantime, I was diagnosed with diabetes. I had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, irritable bowel syndrome. The list goes on. Dysmenorrhea, which is heavy cramps, heavy bleeding with menstrual cycles. So with that, after losing my restaurant, going back in, I had the opportunity to work for a holistic doctor before working for the corporation I mentioned before. And it segued into me getting my master's of science in nutrition education. And I was able to reverse all my illnesses. I was on over 10 medications. All of those are gone. I lost over 80 pounds. I'm extremely healthy. I don't get sick. I don't get cramps. I don't get the flu. I don't know what illness is. So I try to utilize my real testimonies and not just tell people what they should do, but help people transition the right way into leading up to a plant-based diet. Because we say, oh, I have cancer, or I have diabetes, or I have these bad cramps, or I get fibroids, and it's the generational curse. But it's really us just repeating these really bad cycles that are happening in our families because we do what our moms did and we do what our grandmothers did. So I'm just trying to help the generation live better health-wise, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and then help you get your money as well, so we can live longevity, we can get these legacies, we can build these empires, dynasties, whatever it is you want. But that is me, Brittany Walker Craig. And then LeVay CMOS, my other business that I have with my spouse. So CMOS is a very good alternative for a vitamin. It has multiple vitamins and multiple minerals, but it helps you fight diseases in your immune system. It helps fight mucus, which mucus is the #1 buildup of processed foods, fast foods, and the things that are actually killing us off, leading to diabetes, chronic illnesses, heart disease, fibroids, Alzheimer's, you name it. All of those things are actually associated with diet, whether doctors want to tell you or not. They're trying to get you to take medicine, and you can actually eat the things that come from the earth to really heal yourself. So I try to help people with that. CMOS helps with that benefit. It also helps with sexual stimulation, help with your skin, your hair, your nails, everything. So to reach me, you can hit me up on at NNG Consulting, as you can see there. You can also, in the link in that bio, you can buy CMOS. We're actually going to be at the Black Vegan Market tomorrow here in Houston. You can check that out on our Instagram. We will be at the Shop Black Market for the Health and Wellness Expo on February 20th at the Buffalo Soldier Museum in Houston. And then on the 27th for the Small Business Women's Expo for vegans. I'm also going to be there with my spouse for LeVay CMOS. So hit me up, and I'm ready to help heal, save, and educate you all. It was nice meeting everybody.
I love her. And before you go, I do have a question because I want you to answer this, which you pretty much already did. No.
Sorry, I was going on my time.
No.
30 seconds left.
No, this
That's my favorite number. Come on, angel number. Yes. With my crystals lined up. I got all my little crystals lined up. Y'all, come on, chakras. Activate them chakras.
This is good because it's great information, but you pretty much answered that. But is a healthy lifestyle a reflection of self-love?
Absolutely. It is definitely a reflection of self-love. So I mentioned to you guys that I was being bullied because of my size. That led me to gaining the diabetes because I was going on cornbread diets. I was drinking Ensure. I was eating cheese, donut diets because I wanted to be thick. All my family members, everybody around me, you're olive oil, you're skinny, you're straight up and down. You're not thick, you're not thick. So I was trying to do things to get thick. And guess what? It led to me getting diseases. So I look at, yes, that is a form of self-love. So I just thank God, the ancestors, the sun, the moon, and the universe for giving me another opportunity, because I could be 6 feet under somewhere from my health. And those also led to other issues. I didn't even mention that I am a former drug addict. I went to rehab and I was able to get saved from all those things before I even went back to school to get all my degrees. So healthy lifestyle is definitely a form of self-love, because when you're healthy, your mental is right, your clarity is right. You can't be brainwashed. You can't be confused by the media. You can't fall for the propagandas. You're able to really focus on what's most important. And then if physical health, if you're not physically healthy, how are you going to able to sustain? How are you going to have kids? How are you going to build these businesses? How are you going to be able to hustle? You have to take care of yourself. So yes, that's definitely a form of self-love.
I want to say I love you very much. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Clap for, I know we can't hear you, but please clap for her. She's very dope. And now I want to actually go ahead and introduce Mr. Payne. He is amazing. He's going to be in volume 3. We had the opportunity of meeting for to take his photos. And I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them what you do, because he's so dope.
Yeah, sure. So peace, everyone, for, peace and love for everyone. Thank you. My name is Malik Kane, Brooklyn, New York. I'm based in the city, self-taught photographer, videographer. I also am a founder of Why Tomorrow Inc., which is a youth-led organization that is dedicated to sustaining Black life around the world. We do a lot of projects and workshops in Cuba, as well as New York and Los Angeles, California. That's how I can as well. But this is, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, it's a little choppy. We heard a bit. It was a little choppy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so my.
And if you want, I can even turn my video off, or if you wanted to turn, whatever helps. I don't mind. Let's see. Uh-oh. I think we lost another.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear?
Yeah, a bit. I can hear you.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. My apologies. I'm not at home now. I'm actually traveling at the moment. Yeah.
No, no problem. No problem. No, it's okay. And we know with the this world, this digital world, it happens. But I'll just highlight, so just in case they missed a few parts, but he has a nonprofit called Why Tomorrow. And it's amazing because he does so much work for kids around the world. And, you know, he travels, great energy, great spirit. You can even check out, if you follow his Instagram and you check out the information in the bio, you'll be able to see the nonprofit. And Malik, can you, are you able, is it still choppy?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So you were just talking about traveling, and I know you travel a lot for your nonprofit. So if you want, and then you can leave your video off because once again the internet can be terrible. But if you want, would you be able to talk about just rope your nonprofit in to speak about why traveling is important?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, Why Tomorrow is a youth-led organization. We started out, our inception was in Cuba, Havana, Cuba, back in 2019. And even well before that, we started to go to Cuba. And when I say we, me and my partner, we started Cuba in 2016. And we wanted to make it an actual organization and actually bring things to the Cuban people. Obviously, they're in a developing country rather, and it's a lot going on there. So we wanted to do something for the youth as well as all the individuals of Cuba that we come across, and so that's where it started. We now are based in the Bronx, so that's where we live, and we partnered up with a few Bronx charities as well, like Her Village, where we give out diapers, feminine products to women and families on a monthly basis. Over 200 individuals and families on a monthly basis of those products, and within the Bronx as well as New York City.
No, you know, that's so dope, and that's really amazing because seeing your feed, and I love, of course, you know, I'm all about supporting the youth. And just to ask too, like, how do you feel when you are traveling to do this? Is it like a combination of like peace, or just is it overwhelming? Like, how do you feel?
Well, yeah, so traveling is just much more than just, to me, going to some place and experiencing a destination. For me, at times it helps me realign and check in with myself, while the actual distance helps my efforts and self-discovery, and overall, meaningful learning and significant engagement with individuals as well as just with one myself. So when I'm whether I'm in Cuba or Miami or anywhere outside of home, I've been able to check in with myself and realign my thoughts and center myself as that. So that's a big proponent of self-love, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I will admit, brother, when when I met you, I was like, man, he's traveling. And when I thought about it, I was like, oh man, I just want to go see this place. But the fact is, like, not just traveling just for the sake of traveling, but to leave your thumbprint on a place and on, you know, to really leave your energy and spirit in someone when you leave, and ultimately that can help them is beautiful. And that is very important. And I'm so happy that you joined the series. So do you
Oh,
have,
thank you. Thank you for having me.
yeah, and right now I know traveling is tough because of COVID, but you still, you know, you still manage. Like, just another question, not trying to throw a
Yeah.
left field, but like, what are your, do you have any future traveling locations you plan on hitting?
Well, currently I'm in Miami, Florida. I'm working on a photography project here. In terms of the Black experience, I was able to go to. I don't know if you guys saw the movie One Night in Miami, but I was able to go to that actual hotel where Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, and can't remember the other guys' names, were there to visit that one night in Miami. And I'm sort of doing a project in terms of the Black experience of Miami, and how the hands founded Miami, and that experience. The people that actually live here and the ones that don't, searching Miami at the moment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it cut out just at the end. Dang, it cut out just at the end. But could you repeat that last part?
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty much I'm doing my research and development of Miami, in terms of the Black experience. Because I'm just very interested. I frequent Miami a lot in Florida itself, and I wanted to know. I would like to know more about it, in terms of the history and where it's going in the future as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's so great what you're doing, because like I said, like me, I have no idea, and I didn't know the importance of traveling and being able to reach more people. And because of you, I'm really inspired to go back home to the motherland, and to meet my other family over there, and to somehow create a photographic project to raise awareness about the disconnect that's happened between, like, you know, and Black Americans, and then, you know, those back home. And, you know, I really want to thank you so much, the work that you're doing for the children. I'm seeing your beautiful
Right.
family. You have a beautiful family, and you all are out there working together, even the little one. It just brings
Thank you.
me so much joy. And
Thank you.
please let them know where they can support you again.
Yes. Mostly. So you guys can check out ytomorrowinc.com. That's YTMRRWINC .com. Also, if you want to look at my work, it's my website is bybleekalucci.com. It's BYBLEEKALUCHI.com, and I'll leave it in the chat as well for you to
Yeah.
pick up.
Yes, thank you. You are dope. Thank you so much for sharing so much wisdom. And once again, thank you for what you are doing for the youth. It's dope.
Sorry
And
about the internet.
nah, that's
It's
all right. It happens.
horrible.
It's life. I mean, sometimes when it does it, and I'm like, whoo, thank goodness I don't have to answer that question. But no, it all worked out fine. Thank you so much. Now, like, moving on, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. And I did want to mention that there was a raffle. Okay,
Thank you.
let's see. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, you guys are in this thing. So I wanted to announce a few of the winners. Thank you for dropping your information in there, Malik, too. That's dope. Please follow and support them. But we are going to move on. Now, there's a t-shirt involved. There's a book publication. There's a keychain that I got from a local Black-owned company. And there's also a gift card. And, ooh, what else? A signed print, okay, of the beautiful collage that has Mrs. Brittany Walker Craig on there. Yeah, you can get a signed print. So I'm going to announce those right now. Hello. All right, so for the winners, let's just go down the list. The self-publication, the beautiful Black Love Black t-shirt I designed, and Brittany had that on as well. Mrs. Haley Lewis, you are going to have that and wear it and it's going to be beautiful. So please message me. You can message the self-publication page with your size, your address, and I'll ship it out to you, okay? Now, for the volume 2 of the self-publication, Francis, I don't want to say your last name wrong, but I think, Brittany, do I pronounce it wrong? Is it less? No, I'm bad with names. Don't hate me. Don't hate me, but Francis, you've actually won volume 2, and I will actually send that to you because I really think you will enjoy it. Now, the keychain from BG Amazing is going to Mrs. Danielle Gates. And I was so happy to see. I was like, wow, I know that person. I know that email, I think. But anyway, I did a raffle and I pulled, and she actually won the keychain. And I think this is going to be great. When she jumped in our car, she'll be able to just feel the beautiful energy from the owner of this company. Moving on to the gift card, okay, is the winner, Jazzy with the words. And forgive me for creeping on y'all's pages, but I'm like, who? Let me. And Jazzy, I was doing some more digging and research, and she's doing so many great things, and I'm so happy she signed up for this webinar. She's also a great poet and music artist. Please remember that Jazzy with the words, because that's a dope name, and go support her. And the sign print goes to Jasmine Phillips. It's going to be beautiful. You will store it in your house, and it's just amazing. That collage is beautiful. Now we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. We end at 7, but I have 15 minutes. It's not gonna take 15 minutes. Don't leave yet. But just to wrap up, where to find the social media, you can hit up the self-publication, all right? The website is also included. You will also, the information was dropped in the chat to support Brittany and Mr. Payne, Malik, and what they do. I love them. Please support them. You can find them on this page, or you can just go directly. But if you forget, please remember, you'll always, it's no excuse for you not to find them, okay? You know where they are. But you can find the self-publication there. It has beautiful imagery. It's a nice brand. It talks about visual artists. It has strong imagery of the community. Basquiat, he's my favorite. You'll see stuff like that. You'll also see information on like seeing lifeless Black bodies online that is not normal. And you'll also see quotes and stuff from women from volume 1, men from volume 2, just everyone, all of these dope people. Now, there is a Spotify playlist, and it's dope. I'm not going to lie. I listen to it a lot. And yes, I helped create it, but really the people who have joined this publication, their energy has helped me pick some really nice music from Black artists that they just make great music. They really do, and it gets you moving. Just play this when you're feeling down, do a bit of writing, and that'll be that. And this is more of what you can find on the social media. Now, I did say that you have an at-home lesson. Remember, the at-home lesson is a self-reflection activity. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a writer. You don't have to be good with grammar. Just write about something that's probably made you happy or has hurt you, and get it out, because it's hard and it's bad to store that inside of you. Once again, remember, unity is important, and it's time for us to start healing. Now, to leave off on this before we go, I wanted to say that you should watch The Pieces I Am, and it states Toni Morrison, she's dope. So the first thing I had to do was eliminate the white gaze. Jimmy Baldwin used to talk about the little white man that sits on your shoulder and checks out everything you do and say. So I wanted to knock him off, and you're free now. Now I own the world. So with that being said, thank you all for coming. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. Love for the Black community. Have a great night. And yeah, for the people who won your gifts, you'll never get, no, I'm playing. I'm gonna send them to you. But have a great night. And thank you so much for supporting the Power of Black Stories presented by the Self-Publication. See ya. Let me stop sharing first though.